Thanks, Albert, for being willing to join us today and share a bit more insight into your service.
Thanks, everyone, GSMA. It's a pleasure.
Okay, so with that introduction, my objective for this conversation is really just to understand a bit more about what's made the service successful today and what have been the challenges that you've faced in terms of achieving even further scale. So maybe you can start by just giving us a little bit of background on Rwanda, on MTN, and then finally on MobileMoney as a service.
Okay, thank you, Paul. As mentioned, my name is Albert Kinuma, from MTN Rwanda. Rwanda, country from East Africa, so we're just south of Uganda. Population 11 million. So if we look at where we stand, economically, Rwanda has been rebuilding after the genocide of '94. So we've been having a very steady development path in the last few years. MTN Rwanda started operating in Rwanda in 1998. Currently, in the market, we have about 2.9 million mobile subscribers, and so our market share is around 70% currently. So the other 30% going to Millicom. So that's for Rwanda. So the other question was to say what was behind the early success of MobileMoney in Rwanda. Maybe I would say if I look at maybe three top reasons, maybe not the only ones. I would say, first of all, I think there was a focus at the company level from MTN Rwanda to say that we really wanted to invest heavily in MobileMoney, and that translated by dedicated a team to MobileMoney. So it means that there's a department where people who wake up every day think and work MobileMoney 100% of the time. It also started with having a very good project manager in implementing the service, because I think it's really important to really start on the right footing. And the experience we had from the project manager, who had also deployed MobileMoney in Uganda, helped us in terms of setting the team in the right way, saying who should be doing what should be looking at. And at least you started with a certain confidence of saying, this is how we're going to push. And we would have the knowledge of the terrain, but you also wanted to understand, especially this being new business, what are the metrics, what are the things that we should be looking towards. And so the last thing I would say is also in terms of investment. When we launched, it was really a major launch for the company. So I think in terms of the marketing push, marketing drive, it was really above the line, below the line, activations across the country. Also done, we had launches in every provinces. So really trying to make it big. So we rented actually a helicopter. So just to show and create a buzz around when MobileMoney was being unveiled.
Great. Okay. Well, there's a lot of stuff to pick up on there. Maybe I'll start just by taking a step back, though. And there's probably a chart on the screen that may have caught some of your eyes. It's down towards the bottom. This is the product mix for your service, and it looks markedly different from the average product mix, which we just saw from Neil and Claire a few minutes ago. So can you tell us maybe a little bit about the services that MTN MobileMoney offers, and why have you seen so much? Why has the proportion of P2P transfers to airtime top-ups been different in Rwanda?
Okay, so as you can see on the graph, so we currently have, I think 4 major product lines. So it's peer-to-peer, bill payment, bulk payment, and airtime top-up. And peer-to-peer currently represents 84% of all the transactions. The reasons behind that is when we started, we felt that it was strategic for us to have the airtime vendors on our side, especially the big distributors. And for them, because being in East Africa, they knew what was happening in Safaricom and Uganda. So they knew that one of the things that their counterparts were telling them that some of the airtime will be going through there. So they asked us, do you want to take our business away? So what we did was to say, okay, we're not interested in that. So effectively, the minimum amount of airtime that could be purchased from MobileMoney was heightened. So I'll give you a proportion. The minimum airtime top up on electronic distribution is about 100 francs. For us, we started the entry level on MobileMoney at 1,500 francs. So just to show them that, you know, we want you to be partners, but we're not interested in taking this airtime business away from you. So at least it gave us that leverage, and they became more involved and invested in the business. Over time, we've progressed, and we've reduced the amount of money from 1.5 now closer to the same level as the airtime value. But because we know on the other side now that they're started to make money, so they understand the value of MobileMoney. But at the beginning, we just wanted to make sure that they saw that it was not a product that was aimed at increasing, reducing the amount of commission that we paid out.
So let's talk a bit about regulation in Rwanda. Can you tell me, first of all, how MTN is licensed by the financial services regulator?
Yeah, so MTN Rwanda, we have a license directly from the central bank. So meaning that we don't depend on another bank. So we chose who we wanted to work with in the banking sector. And also, I think that if we look at our relationship with the central bank, again, I think having the experience of Kenya, Uganda, because we launched only in 2010, so there was already a lot of buzz around M-Pesa and the benefits it had done in the financial sector. So even the central bank itself had its own KPI. They wanted to have a mobile money service deployed by 2010. So I think for them, they really wanted and pushed us to effectively deploy on time.
So the organization responsible for licensing you, it was a KPI of the staff to approve a license. Exactly. There are a lot of faces that are turning green to envy in the audience, but we'll continue along. And what about KYC rules? How can customers register for the service?
So for the KYC rules, so we have a national ID. So every adult Rwandan has an ID. So to register, you need to have your ID, and also the registration is done on the platform, so the MobileMoney platform, with name, date of birth, and ID number. But also there's a physical paper, form, which we then collect and archive at MTN.
Right. And the customer's account, is it active immediately upon registration, or is there some sort of waiting period?
It becomes active immediately. So I think because at least when the registration is done on the platform already, there is the name and ID already registered and captured.
Right, right. So in other markets, in some cases, customers have to wait some amount of time before the accounts become active, but your customers can start transacting basically immediately after they register.
Exactly.
Great.
Yeah.
And my last question on registration was around agent rules. What can your agents do in terms of services for the customer?
So in Rwanda, our agents can do all transactions in terms of registration, cash in and cash out as well. Right.
So a pretty favorable regulatory environment, all things told.
Yes, I think if I look at analyze the relationship we have with our regulator has helped us a lot. In getting the service up and running. But I think it's still an ongoing discussion and engagement because as the product evolves and as we bring in new services, there's still a need for education and convincing advocacy for our regulator, especially when there's new things which they don't necessarily quite understand. There is a lot of back and forth that still needs to go through. So I think we're lucky at the beginning that that was on the KPI, but now as time goes by, I think there's still a need for consistent and commitment and engagement that has to go on. Great,
great. Okay, so let's get past regulation. Let's talk about some of the commercial issues and some of the operational issues and questions that you've answered. Let's talk about distribution. Can you share a little bit about the philosophy that you used in terms of building the agent network and the rate at which you've grown the agent network from launch up until now?
Okay. I think if we look at the figures, we currently have about 415,000 registered users, and our number of agents, we currently have 600 agents. So which gives you a ratio of 259 active customer per agent. So that number it continues to increase. So at least when we evaluate our agents' performance, today our agents, we have a regular interaction with our agents, where we have at least a quarterly get-together across the country where we engage our agents to see what are their challenges, how they're performing, and seeing what we need to do to improve the way we work with them. The first meetings we had with our agents was all about, we're not making enough money out of MobileMoney. So at least now today, that engagement has changed in a way where the agents are now understanding that they're effectively making money from MobileMoney. Today, an agent makes about $140 a month in commissions from MobileMoney alone. So at least it has an impact on their day-to-day livelihood, especially for those who are based up country. So even when we look at the growth that we are experiencing, a lot of the growth, there is, of course, new agents that we bring on board that we go out and get ourselves. But I would say today 50% of the growth is driven internally. Those are agents who have seen the benefits or who decide themselves that they will go and open up new outlets across the country. So that helps us a lot in getting a committed and a trained force. And we also have a training agency supporting the agent network. So we have across the country 12 reps whose job is to support that agent network on a daily basis. So if any agent has a problem, he knows that he has a dedicated resource close to him who can go there and train him or offer him support anytime.
Great. I mean, these are so many of the keys to success that were behind the success of M-Pesa in Kenya, and it's great to see you being so deliberate about managing the customer to agent ratio and making sure that your agents are profitable.
Yes, definitely. I think that was something that we needed to see happen, because for the service to be successful, we needed to have happy agents, and for them to be happy, they had to make money. So we had to make sure that in everything we did, the promotions we did, we were effectively making sure that we are involving them, understanding, and in taking into consideration all their feedback. So again, if we look at our current ratio of 600 agents, we know that our target by the end of the year is to double our customer base. And to do that, it means that we need to push the activity, new activations on the market. But at the same time, our agent network has to grow at the same pace as well. So just trying to make sure that we don't have one element moving too fast compared to the other one.
Great. And so what's next? What are the activities that you have lined up that are gonna push the service into the 1 million active customers club?
Well, I think one thing that we were doing, of course, is to have like promotional drives, which we're having actually this quarter just to excite the market again. New services, we're looking at like services such as international remittance, bulk payment, which we're also driving quite aggressively, especially for companies such as a construction company that have a lot of manpower unbanked, but needing to be paid on a very fast and consistent basis. So also just making sure that continue engagement with our agents as we go along.
Great. Well, on that note, thank you, Albert, for joining us and sharing.
Thank you very much.